So, I wasn't always like this. I mean, Dragon Quest is one of the most legendary RPG series of all time, and for many people, like me for so long, it was the one franchise that I never played, and it might be like that for you. Maybe you grew up with Final Fantasy like me, or maybe Persona, or anything else, but Dragon Quest itself, still sitting there, respected, iconic, and for a lot of you, untouched. And now with the newest release in the series, which is Dragon Quest VII Reimagined, there's never been a better moment to finally experience what makes this series so timeless. So today's video isn't about deep lore or long history or a long drawn out thing. It's about one simple idea. It's about why you should play Dragon Quest and why right now is actually the best time to start if you haven't already. Now, before we get to that, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe because almost 90% of the people that watch my channel on the regular aren't subscribed. And leave your thoughts down below. I would love to know, are you playing Dragon Quest? Have you not played Dragon Quest? Hopefully this video convinces you to start one of the many games out there if you haven't already. And by the way, if you have played Dragon Quest, which one's your favorite? I'd probably say mine is 11. So let's get to the video and a couple of reasons why you should finally check it out. So Dragon Quest didn't just influence JRPGs, it helped define them. So many of the systems we take for granted today, like turn-based combat, party progression, leveling, world maps, towns, spells, status effects, all that stuff traces back to the foundation that Dragon Quest laid, starting from like the mid to late 80s. But what makes this series remarkable isn't just that it created that blueprint, it never abandoned it, really. While a lot of other RPGs and JRPGs shifted towards, cinematic spectacle and faster systems, Dragon Quest stayed focused on something simple and powerful: the feeling of adventure. You begin small, often unknown, sometimes powerless, and then slowly, step by step, the world opens up, new towns appear, new party members join, and new stories unfold. And by the time that you finish, it doesn't feel like you watched a story, it feels like you lived one. And if you've watched the Dragon Quest Your Story movie, oh boy, that is truer than ever there. That sense of personal journey has remained consistent across the entire series, and that's why Dragon Quest still feels timeless today, even with the newer releases. There's also a tone to Dragon Quest that almost no other RPG series captures. The world feels warm, inviting, and really lived in and human. Akira Toriyama's art style gives everything personality, from heroes to villagers to the iconic monsters like slimes and drakis. I mean, even the enemies feel charming rather than threatening, which creates a unique kind of balance to the whole thing. The music feels heroic and nostalgic and really grounds the experience in adventure rather than urgency. And the writing of the story and the characters blends humor and sincerity and some surprisingly emotional themes beneath its light and kind of airy surface, depending on what game you're playing. I would say confidently that Dragon Quest is the comfort RPG series because it welcomes you rather than overwhelms you. It moves at a pace that lets you live in the world and lets you breathe, but also beneath that warmth is some really well-polished design. There's thoughtful progression and meaningful exploration, and obviously along the way you'll have that strategic turn-based combat that the series is really well known for. Dragon Quest certainly doesn't try to impress you instantly. It wins you over gradually, and once it does, oh boy, does it really stay with you. Now, if I had to describe Dragon Quest with one word all the way from Dragon Quest 1 through 11, consistent. That is what I would use to describe the entire series. Consistency. It's just a consistent series. Across decades of releases, the core mechanics remain largely the same. Turn-based combat, progression, exploration-driven structure, and a steady sense of growth throughout your adventure. Instead of feeling repetitive, that consistency really became the series' greatest strength. You always know what kind of journey you're stepping into, and that journey is almost always rewarding. Every Dragon Quest game feels like a different story, built on a familiar but trusted foundation. At least in my experience anyway, that formula has just worked for me. And no matter what entry you start with, there's a very good chance that you're going to have a great time and start to feel things as you go through your journey with the series. You might notice, hey, this feels the same, the music is a little bit the same, the way that the characters talk are the same, and even down to the music, a lot of that stuff is similar. So there's going to be this, again, that comforting RPG feeling no matter what Dragon Quest game you're going to play. By the way, before we continue with any more Dragon Quest, I want to give a quick thank you and shout out to these people here for sponsoring the video. If you would like to support the channel more, obviously you can subscribe, but I do have a Patreon available where you can get early access to videos, behind the scenes things, and also your name in the video like this. More Dragon Quest right now. Now, what really makes this series so special is across all the different entries is this idea of small beginnings that grow into meaningful journeys. Dragon Quest V, for example, explores generational storytelling and the passage of time in a way that few other games have ever attempted. Dragon Quest VIII captures the feeling of a grand classical adventure with characters that grow alongside you. And the most modern game yet in the series, Dragon Quest XI, because that's, where we're at in terms of like the newest of the series, refines that traditional formula into one of the most polished and emotionally resonant JRPGs of that era. And throughout the series, I've found that the focus is rarely just spectacle, it's connection. It's connection to your party, the world, and the journey itself. And that emotional consistency is why Dragon Quest feels timeless rather than tied to a specific era of gaming. Really, I'm telling you what, you could pluck Dragon Quest I into a modern game like Dragon Quest XI, and aside from a little bit of the bare bonesness of Dragon Quest I, it still feels the same. That's why Dragon Quest I HD 2D still feels like a fun, modern experience that I would recommend to anybody happily. And this is where the newest game, Dragon Quest VII Reimagined, becomes important. Not just as a release, but as a new doorway into the series. I've had a lot of fun over the last couple of years being a new Dragon Quest fan, seeing all these new doorways open, and Dragon Quest VII Reimagined is obviously the latest addition to that. So while I haven't played Dragon Quest VII yet, I actually bought this game over the summer last year, and then the reimagined version was announced, so I figured I might as well just wait. From what I've read and researched, this game is pretty long. A lot of the stuff has been cut down in the new version, and it's going to be made more accessible, but this game is pretty unique from all the Dragon Quest fans' standpoint. Now with a reimagined version, I think it's going to be a lot more approachable and accessible. Obviously, when this video comes out, this game will have already been released, so I would love to know your thoughts as well. It just feels like another perfect opportunity for new players to step into the series for the first time. I mean, not only is it going to be a lot more user-friendly, it's going to have that classic charm for those who are fans of the original, but it's also a gorgeous-looking game. But for me, what matters most is what it represents. It's a fresh starting point for a legendary series. So why play Dragon Quest now? Well, because the series is quietly stepping back into the spotlight. Dragon Quest VII Reimagined is here, Dragon Quest XII is eventually going to be on the horizon, Dragon Quest I through 3 HD 2D are freshly released, and who knows when Dragon Quest 4 through 6 HD 2D are going to be coming out, because in my opinion, it's only a matter of time. And overall, more players are rediscovering the appeal of this classic JRPG design. And in my opinion, somebody who grew up as a Final Fantasy kid, I really think that Dragon Quest is hitting the peak of popularity because it was never really super popular in the West until maybe in the last 5 or so years. So in a time where many games chase speed and scale and spectacle, Dragon Quest offers something really pure. A sincere adventure, growth without overcomplication, discovery that feels earned rather than rushed, and the simple joy of building a party, exploring the world, and slowly becoming stronger. Dragon Quest reminds you why RPGs captured people's imagination in the first place. So if Dragon Quest has been sitting in your backlog for years, maybe now's the time. With the newest release here, Dragon Quest VII Reimagined being out now, or even the HD 2D versions of 1 through 3. All of those games are offering a new, approachable way into the series, and there's never been a better time to finally experience one of gaming's most important and timeless JRPG franchises. And once you start that journey, you may understand why for so many players, even me included, Dragon Quest isn't just another RPG series, it's one that is going to stick with you forever. I mean, you don't just end up with all these little slimes, physical copies of the game, hoodies, posters behind me, and a slime tattoo as well. I mean, it's quietly become a very important part of my life. I just love what this game offers. It's just a classic, comforting experience. So there's a couple reasons why you should play Dragon Quest. I think now is the best time, and with all these newer versions of these older games available, Square Enix is quietly building a modern way to play this beloved series, and I couldn't be more excited. So thank you so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, leave your thoughts down below. Otherwise, we'll see you in another video next week. Bye-bye.